Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Sean Paul here, and I hope you all are fucking fabulous. Today's video is going to be a video specifically on foundation. I'm gonna show you how I create the most perfect base that I can. I'm gonna show you some tips and tricks on what I do to avoid certain problems and to help create a beautiful, beautiful base. I hope this video is super informative, as a lot of you have requested it, and I'm always getting asked by clients and friends and people on the street, what do I do to create a flawless finish? I'm not going to list many products that I'm using because you can literally do this with any products that you have at home. From drugstore or high-end, doesn't matter, you can create beautiful, beautiful skin. So I hope that you guys are ready to see what I do to create beautiful skin, and let's get this video fucking rolling. You're going to want to look at your skin type and adjust from there before you even start with foundation. If you have dry skin, you're going to want to use a moisturizer that is extremely light and keep it at that, or maybe a mattifying primer. For me, my skin is actually a little drier and super combination, so I like to overhydrate because I want my skin to be super glowy. So what I do is I actually moisturize extremely heavily, and then I go in with a little bit of a oil and I apply that to the super dry areas. Next, you want to decide what type of coverage you want. Sometimes I like full coverage, sometimes I like a medium or sheer coverage, and it is completely up to you. If you only have a full coverage foundation and you are trying to go to the gym or, you know, be more relaxed, you can actually sheer that out with a little bit of a moisturizer, and that definitely can turn a full coverage foundation into a more sheer coverage. If you are in a pinch and you only have a very sheer coverage foundation or a BB or CC cream, you can actually add a little bit of concealer to that to bump that up. So after you've done all of that, you can go in and color correct. As you can see right now, my skin is breaking out. I have this guy right here. It is not my month. I took a little bit of green concealer and placed that where I had some red blemishes, and then where my eyes are really hollow and I look tired, I put a little bit of a concealer that was more of a soft orange shade, and that's going to kind of even out my skin tone when I put my foundation on. So I want a more sheer coverage, so I'm gonna go in with the MAC Face and Body, which I love this stuff, and it's super sheer to medium if you want to build it up. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to put a little bit of that on the back of my hand. Now, you can apply foundation with different methods. You can use your fingers, you can use a kabuki brush like this, a buffing brush like this, or you can use a sponge. I prefer to start off with a buffing brush. This is very, very dense. This is the Morphe M439. You know I've talked about this brush many times in my previous videos, and that's what I like to start off with. So taking a little bit on the back of my hand, I'm going to now go in, starting at the center of my face. And you're gonna wanna slide this over and then stipple it. By starting in the center of your face, you end up creating less coverage on the outer ring of your face and more coverage on the center, which is where we have most of our issues. Don't forget about underneath your neck. You do want your face and body to be one complete thing. You don't want to be two people walking down the street. So now I'm going in with a concealer, and I'm gonna place that concealer right where that foundation left off. So right about there, okay? A little bit on my nose. Brighten up the forehead. A little bit on the chin. And my Cupid's bow. Now you're gonna wanna blend that up to the eye. So what I've done there is I had my foundation come up to about here, and then I had my concealer come up to about here, and then by blending it, it all seamlessly worked up. So you don't end up with a layer of foundation underneath your eyes, and then a layer of concealer, and then a layer of powder, which will do the opposite of having perfect under eyes. So here's a really great trick. So what I like to do is take half of a paper towel, and because we don't want too much product, more than we need, what I do is I like to go in and I like to take a paper towel and just press that over your face. You don't want to move that around because you don't want anything moving around, but you just want to take the excess off your face. Press in on the sides of your nose, forehead, chin. So I lowered my lighting so you can see how much extra foundation has been taken off. The problem with having too much product on is that you end up with a bunching problem. So I'm sure a lot of you have put your foundation on and then went about the day, and then you ended up having, especially in this area right here, or in these wrinkles, or on the forehead, you ended up with creasing and you ended up with like that bunchy look. This little trick takes care of that. Now the biggest thing is powders, okay? So we don't want to over powder our face. So what I like to do is I like to go in with a nice soft brush, right? Go into a little bit of powder. This is the Coty Airspun, which I really like. And I like to dip this brush into it and then take off the excess. Now I can go underneath the eye, along the sides of the nose, the bridge of the nose, the forehead, chin. So a big key here is that you're stippling it in. You don't want to move the foundation by gliding it. You want to stipple it in, and the powder will set the foundation on contact. A lot of people would take a much bigger brush, something along the lines of this, and then powder their whole face to set it. Now the problem with that is that you're going to have a whole layer of powder over your face. Then you're going to go in and bronze and blush and highlight and do all of that, and then you're going to end up with some places 4 layers of powder over foundation, over concealer. That is asking for trouble an hour after you've put your makeup on. It might look good for a moment, but you're asking for trouble. So now that I've powdered this area right here and this area right here, now I want to set this perimeter and my contour area. So I'm going to go in with the Tom Ford bronzer. This is the shade Terra, and I love it. Take a nice powder brush, and I'm going to stipple and set this whole area. So now I'm setting this with its own powder, not 2 separate powders. You end up with much less cake when you powder where necessary. Please don't mind this pimple. It is so big. And of course, earlier this morning I was really into messing with it, so it's extra inflamed. You can set the foundation on your neck with that bronzer, your ears. I'm going to be going in with this palette from Pure, which was in my BoxyCharm. I'm going to take the blush right here. I like to take a little bit on the bridge of my nose, a little on my forehead. And now if you have any areas that have not been set yet that you want to, areas that get oily, like for me, my chin gets oily, I can just take a little bit of that excess powder from this brush and just set that in. Now your face is set. You have only what you need. Now I'm gonna go in and put a little bit of highlight on also using that pure palette. Now, a problem with highlighter is that a lot of times people want it to be extremely, extremely blinding. I do too. However, the best way to get highlighter extremely blinding isn't by adding more and more and more and more. It's about adding just what you need. So I'm applying that right there. I'm applying it on. And now I'm going to go in and I'm just going to buff that into the skin. So by buffing a highlighter, what happens is you end up slicking the product to your skin and creating that extremely wet finish, as opposed to adding more and more and more and more. The skin right there looks really nice and glowy and wet. Also too, a great way to use a little bit of product and get a good impact on your nose is by using your finger. A little on the tip right there, and then I like to apply a little bit on my forehead. So now a really important step is setting your makeup. So obviously a setting spray is necessary to blend all of this together. So what I like to do for a setting spray is use either some water. Just pure water actually is a great setting spray because it does not add any change to your makeup. It's only water. So you can spray your face with water, it's also free, and then take a beauty sponge and just blend everything together. You can also take your toner, which hopefully is alcohol free because alcohol is shit for your face, and spray your face with your toner. That's what I'm gonna do right now. And you can just literally push everything into your skin. And that just kind of marries and melts everything into your skin. If your skin is like mine and it has some dry patches, one thing that you can do that is awesome is take a little bit of oil. And when I say a little bit, I mean literally 1 drop. Spread that on the back of your hand so that it's the thinnest layer. Now go into your beauty sponge and just pick up a little bit of that. You want it to be barely anything. And you can go into your highlight area or areas that you are dry. My forehead gets so dry. And just pack everything in. And now what that's gonna do is that's gonna help. You know when your foundation mixes, if you have dry skin, and your foundation mixes with your natural oils a couple hours later, that it actually in some spots can look really great? This is kind of replicating that. If you have really oily skin, I do not recommend. The key there though, is that you want to use literally a drop. If you use any more than that, you'll actually break down your foundation. So be very, very conservative with how much you use. So I actually used the bronzer in the crease of my eye just to give it a little definition, and the highlighter I use on the apple of my eye, just because today is going to be super relaxed and all about the skin. So I did pop on a little bit of lip liner from NYX in the shade, I want to say it is Ever or SPL 828. And then I use a little bit of the Shine Shot from Maybelline just to give it a little bit of gloss. I want it to be super natural, super pretty. So I hope you guys like this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If there's anything else that you guys want to see, I think I might be doing a video on my favorite brushes very soon to kind of add to this quick, simple series. But yeah, let me know, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and also follow me on Instagram, Sean Paul Creative, and I will see you all soon.